Day 163. Okay, so here's where we're going to go deeper on one of the money beliefs. Working hard equals money. And so I want to tap into this one because I think this is a big one because we all do it on a conscious level for those of us who are aware of this belief. And a lot of us do it on a subconscious level who are also aware of this belief, but wish to shift it, wish to not be living in this belief. And so in my stories, I asked you a bunch of questions around this belief in terms of like working hard equals money. But first you have to, one, do you resonate with this belief? How does this belief feel in your body? And is this something you wish to shift from and have a different belief for your life? Because you are the creator and you get to decide how to live your life, how it all is going to unfold. And so that is the first few things that you need to clarify when it comes to working hard equals making money. Also, the other thing in terms of that belief is, what does working hard mean to you? In my perspective, where I shared in my stories, for me, it's like working more than playing, working more than, like kind of having a life like that 5-day work week, the 40-hour work week. Like that to me is what I see it as, like, oh, you need to put in the hours, do the work, and do things that don't light you up so that you can get to that next stage in your life. And then that's how you get more money. And so for me, that doesn't resonate, but that's how I see working hard. That's how working hard has been presented in my reality. And so that may not be the same as you. And so what does working hard mean to you? How does that feel in your body as well? And if this is something you want to shift, then continue listening. If this is not something you want to shift and you're like, my life is good, you can keep watching. You never know if I might say a little nugget that will inspire you and you're like, oh, that is an interesting point. Or you can just, move on and you do you. I'm not here to change your life. I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just here to show you a different perspective and show you a different perception of beliefs, money, life, and everything. And so for me, I've always wanted life to be easy. I don't want life to be hard. I want things to feel flow and ease. I don't want to be forcing or trying to control something. And that is something I got really, really clear on. And I got clear on that with the universe. And so setting that intention and doing really unraveling that, yes, I can have a life of ease. Yes, I don't have to work hard to make money. Money can flow to me whenever I want, whether I do an action or not, whether I show up for my business or not, money will still come in my life. And because I don't want my worth to be attached to money, because it's not. Your worth is never attached to money. You are who you are. You are born worthy, as Amanda Frances said. And so when it comes to this belief of working hard, is if you desire to shift that, one, you need to get clear, as I said earlier, but also you need to start paying attention to what you do and why you do it. So if you are an entrepreneur, for example, and you're running your own business, when you launch a program or when you post on social media, when you show up on social media, what is the reason why you're doing it? And this is where subconsciously we can get stuck in the working hard mentality, because we think, oh, the more we show up, the more we post, the more we do, then the more money will come in. And then it creates this work hard, and you're basically feeding the belief of working hard equals making money. But if that's not a reality you wish to do, then this is where subconsciously there's an energetic clash, because you are taking all these actions and you're doing, But meanwhile, it's like, okay, yeah, you're having money come in, but meanwhile you're like, but no, I want things to flow. I want like to make money while I sleep. Like I want to play more. I don't want to work all the time. And the universe is like, yeah, but look at you, but you're doing all these actions instead, and you're not creating the space to play. You're not creating the space to relax. You're not creating the space to let things, to allow money to come to you energetically versus always doing an action equals money coming in. And so when you're doing these actions, ask yourself, one, why are you doing them? What is the reason why you're showing up? What is the reason why you're posting? What is the reason you're doing what you're doing in your business, and why? And the same thing if you work in an office. Like I've worked in the corporate environment for a bit, and I know that sometimes, like I've done it in the past where I've done 2-3 jobs for one person, and it was a lot. It was insane. And so are you picking up those jobs? Like, are you saying yes to everything because subconsciously you believe that taking on more and is going to bring more money, but really you don't want that reality. You still want to have the money come in, but not necessarily take up more work. So are you setting your boundaries? Why are you saying yes? Don't forget, like by saying no, it doesn't mean that it will be the end of the world. The company won't fall apart. Your business won't fall apart if you don't post. But yet, for some reason, we have this ingrained in our mind that if we don't show up on a certain day, if we don't do what we need to do, then everything falls apart and it's the end of the world. But that's not really the case. And so start playing around with that. Start just like playing around with, the why and why you do what you do. And if there is somewhere that you desire to shift, maybe tap into that. Do you want to post less? Like if you were like an entrepreneur, how would you, in an ideal world, like if you knew money was consistently coming into your business, how would you show up every day in your business? How would you show up online? How would you show up with your clients? How would that look like? And does that, like when you look at that and then you look at the belief that you have in terms of work hard equals money, kind of like do this compare and contrast, because you're like, does this go in line with that? Like, does it go in line with what I want? I want to play more. I want to nap more. I want to, what do you want? And so this is where you'll see that like energetic shift. Like, you'll see where there is like that contrast, if there is any. And so, and then start playing around with it. If you desire to play more, add more play to your schedule. Add more play to your life and less work. Cut those hours down. See what happens. See what happens when you do play more. See what happens when you rest more. See what happens when you just take time to yourself and just unplug from your business or your work. Because money is energetically, it's all energy. It is a tool, but we are energetically connected to it. And so if we are allowing our receiving channels to be open to receive, then money will be coming in. And so just like a few examples is like, I know when I was a server, for example, I used to like play around with like the whole idea of like every time I would like play with money and every time I would go for a shift, I'd be like, okay, well, what if I can make this amount of money today? And it was really interesting because like I knew which shifts were busy, which shifts weren't. And I knew like average, like how much I would make on a shift, just because like it was like the predictability, right? And so I would play with it and be like, well, what if I could make more? Like today is supposed to be a dead day. It's like the middle of a slow season. And, like who's going to come in. And there was times where I walked away with more and not necessarily doing more work because I was unraveling that belief of like working hard equals money. So classic example, like I had one table. It was a family. It was my only table that I had for a certain period of time, obviously because I had like a longer shift. Eventually I got other tables and that family left. But that family was basically my entire section. There were a group of 20. And they had a huge bill. And my only focus was them. Obviously I was still helping the servers. I was helping the restaurant. But I wasn't running around like a headless chicken. I was calm and everything was good. Everything was flowy. Everything was easy. And they tipped me basically $600. It can't be that easy. It doesn't have to be hard. How many times have you had a check randomly show up in your mailbox and you're like, wait, where did this come from? It can't be that easy. Money can find its way to you that easily. Or how many times did you, decided to, check on your stock options and see how much they're worth right now. And you're like, oh my God, it's worth way more than I thought it was. Or, this one was kind of cool. I was traveling in New Zealand. This was years ago. And all of a sudden, I check my bank account and there is an extra $1,500 in my bank account. From when I was lifeguarding, they retroactively paid a certain amount because we were not paid a certain amount. We weren't paid well while I was working there, but they retroactively paid everybody. And I hadn't worked there in years. I left that pool, I think when I was 21. And then I got this money deposited in my bank account out of the blue when I was 25. Years later, just like that. These money miracles exist, and I'm sure you have tons and tons of examples. And so if you desire for money to continue coming in your way this way, you can tap into that and you can make it more. And you can live life without the stress and the anxiety, knowing that money is always going to find its way to you and that you will always be okay. And so the choice is yours, really, of what you desire to do and what kind of life you desire to live and how you desire to live with money, what relationship you desire to have with money. And so even when you do receive those random things in the mail or that random money gets deposited into your account, celebrate that because it's deserved celebration. One, it found its way to you. Be grateful for it and be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Celebrate it. And tell money you love money. Tell money, thank you. Thank you, money, for this. This is amazing. Bring me more, please. And see what happens. And so I guess if you want maybe I threw a lot at you where to get started with journal prompts and stuff like that throughout this video. But if you do want kind of something to get you started in this week, for example, why don't you pick a number? It could be any number. And you're like, okay, money. And it doesn't have to be a logical number. I don't want you to do a logical number, but just be like, okay, money, I want this number to come into my life without me doing anything. and let me know what happens. Just put it out there. Put it out there. No date, no time frame. We don't want a time frame. It could be any amount. And just put it out there and say without me doing anything. Like, so it doesn't come from your work. Like, it doesn't mean like, okay, I worked X amount of hours and then I got this money. No. This, like, you're like, it's just going to find its way to me. And see what happens. See what happens. Play with it. And you can try it and let me know if anything happens. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. It could happen 6 months from now. Who knows? But play with it. Put it out in the universe. And be like, okay. I don't know. It's like, it was 11:44 last time I checked the clock. So I'm going to put it out. I'll do it with you. I'll put it out. $1,144 to come into my life unexpectedly without me doing anything to acquire this. It's just going to come in. And I believe it will come in. And I'll let you know also what happens with that. And so, yeah, if you enjoyed this live, like, share, comment. I appreciate it all. If you have any questions, submit it in the comments. Or feel free to DM me. My DMs are always open. And we will continue this money conversation tomorrow or maybe the day after. I don't know. I don't have a plan. We'll see. Okay. Bye.